How's it going, everybody? And I apologize for not only the bad audio, but also my voice, because I am sick as hell. Well, about to be really sick as hell at the moment. I'm entering the stages of a cold, but regardless, I, I was on YouTube, and then I got curious to see what people called, like, their versions of tank builds. And I was disappointed, because, I saw somebody who had gotten a lot of, like, people who had seen their thing, and a lot of people who liked it. Yet, bro had like barely 5,000 defense. In fact, it wasn't even 5,000. It was literally 4,999. In other words, if he goes into a battle with that shit, he's gonna get utterly fucking blasted. Plus, he didn't. From what I could tell, he didn't have any actual regen accessories, and if he did, because I didn't watch the full video, because I didn't really care anymore. Anyways, so he only had 12,000 HP. That's not going to do very much for you if you're a tank. And, in fact, despite me being sick, let me actually show you guys my build. Because I plan to post this now. Alright, so first and foremost, as you can see, I only have 102 strength. This is because after I was, if I remember correctly, I only had enough points to put into, like, after I finished setting everything else up, that I could literally just increase my strength, so I just said, why not? That's if I remember correctly. Let me double check. Yeah. Also, for reference, I could do this if I wanted to. I just kind of choose not to. Because I kind of like having my Ordinal Ray. For one simple fact, it matches my getup. And you might be thinking to yourself, well, no it doesn't, because, you know, it's not gray or something. So, I wanted to make my character to where it looks like to where he really doesn't care about making his things match, and he just uses whatever he comes across. Which is why I haven't even dyed my Bennett Smash. Also, something I want to point out, that other person, his Bennett Smash was 2,200 optical power. In other words, he was using a basic one. So my Bennett Smash, as you can see, is 3,000. That's because it's been increased through bounty. Well, it was a bounty one that I made better through more bounty. Anyways, so let me start by doing this. But you guys can actually see my stats. Alright, so as you can see, I have a strength of 102, 255 vitality, 231 intelligence, 255 agility, 163 dexterity, and 175 luck. So the reason for these stats is because, for one, having maxed out vitality gives you a lot of defense. However, agility gives you the most defense, and that's because agility gives you 12 defense, vitality gives you 8, but also gives you 20 HP per point, and luck only gives you 4. Alright? So you might be looking at this and thinking, alright, but that still doesn't explain your stat spread. So as you can see, so this right here is why I have the 231 intelligence. It's because of Guardfield. And you might be noticing, none of the others really have a real point to them, correct? Actually, they kind of do. For example, so if you take a look at this, you'll notice that the Bennett Smash has a strength requirement of 101. Which is why that 102 exists, is because, as I said, I had one more point left over, and I can only put it in the strength. So I said, sure, why not? And before anybody tries to say anything funny, no, I didn't copy this build. This is entirely my own build. That's why I'm so proud of it. In fact, all of my builds are my own creation. Here's my support build. You might notice how I don't really have much going on for Akano, apart from accessories. And if you look closer, you'll notice something. I actually do have stuff on her weapons. However, it's specifically for support. This debuff stacking is just because I thought it was funny. However, the metal gauge and effective range is to allow for her to be able to buff and not only buff us from afar. In fact, that's what the sniper's for. It's for an event that one of us goes down and we're really far away. She could still lock onto us using the sniper. Anyways, so back to what I was saying. So, next up. My agility is maxed out because of how high it brings my defense to. My dexterity is 163 specifically because that is the exact requirement to use the Bennett Nosh, whatever it's called. I've heard differing opinions, and I really don't care. It's just my gat. That's all it is to it. It's just my Gatling gun. And the 175 luck is because I wanted to be able to pour my extra stats into my luck in order to give me more defense. It has. I don't really give two. In fact, I'm just gonna say I don't give two shits about whether or not it would increase my crit rate or anything, because it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, that doesn't really mean too much. If you're just if you're a tank, sure it'll increase your damage if you get crits, but who the fuck cares? All right, now here are my accessories. So on my hook headphones, it has avoidance and death when HP is 10% or more, 147% of max HP recovered over 1 minute, max HP plus 29.50, and HP recovery 147.50%. So this is actually an accessory you can get through bounty. However, all of these stats do not start at this. They're actually incredibly low. You have to enhance it. In fact, for example, I'm pretty sure if I remember correctly, everything except the max HP, just the max HP increase, they all start at 50. So you have to bring them down. I actually have 2 of these, but I gave the other one to what her name is. Clarence. Oh, never mind. I took it off of Clarence. I think I remember why, though, because Clarence didn't use it, right? So I was just like, what's the point? Anyways, so back to it. So that's what the point of this one is. So this one is my main regen accessory. However, my other accessory for my tank is this one, which is, it's also a bounty one. However, this one starts off this way. It is vitality plus 32%, agility plus 30, well, not 32%. It's vitality plus 32, agility plus 32, HP recovery plus 150%, and max HP plus 32%. So these in tandem actually make it to where your regen is ridiculously fast. And you might be thinking, oh, okay, yep, cool. So what do you have to? So what good is that gonna do? You're gonna just stay alive while everybody else is dead because you can't do anything? And if you think that, you're completely wrong. Let me show you what this build's gonna actually do. Like I said, I eventually reached that point where I'm just tired of seeing people have misconceptions about tanks. And it's because Fatal Bullet can have actually good tanks. The issue is people don't know how to make tank builds. Because people are like, oh yes, must go full damage. No, you don't ever need to do that. Especially if you're going for a tank. And my final coup de grace, last proof of that, before I start this, is one simple fact. So, before I begin anything, pay close attention to my dexterity. Also, I will show you my weapons one last time. Here's my Gatling gun. And here's my Rodent Array. Create room. Private. I wish I could set this to 0. It should be fine. Alright. Make sure it's still recording. Yep. Alright. Hardcore. Imitation Alpha. Where's the tissue? Ow. I apologize for this, everybody. Alright. Also, something I want to point out is that a lot of people often think that that regen just doesn't really work in Fatal Bullet. However, they're completely fucking wrong. So the issue with it is that a lot of people who think that regen doesn't work are the people who think that just because they regen really fast, they don't need Human Fortress. And people who complain about Human Fortress are the people who use Human Fortress 2, 3, and 4. And the reason for that is because Human Fortress 2, 3, and 4 actually debuff you. You only ever want to go for Human Fortress 1. Going for any other Human Fortress is simply a complete mistake. Alright. Human Fortress should run out here soon. Yep, there it goes. Now let me show you what happens when Human Fortress runs out, and same with my regen. So taking any level of stagger or knockback actually negates your regen entirely. That's why people who often say that regen is terrible when it comes to tanking, they're completely wrong. They just don't know how to use it right. that you'll see here the difference. For those of you who know, normally, like if you're by yourself here, you could easily get completely destroyed. However, I'm just gonna casually take this fight. So you might be thinking, why don't I just use my my weapon art? And there's an actually good reason for that. So if I was to use my weapon art, it would make it a lot harder to get it back before I get to the Kibitos. Which is why it's more optimal to save it. Come back here, you coward. My regen has run out, but that's okay. Okay, now I'm reapplying it. Hopefully she'll go for Death Laser. Come on, go for Death Laser. Yeah. This is what real tanking looks like. Now you might be thinking, oh, but you're pretty bad. How about we wait it out? Oh, now I can't. You ruined it, boss. I'm gonna replay this. And you play this. Oh, she's dead. 3, 2, 1. Oh. No. And this is why we don't try and time it. But regardless, as you can see, there's a difference here. And now you might be thinking to yourself, well, yeah, but what does that compare to? So as you guys know, Behemoth is pretty much an insta kill if you get if you get hit with the spin attack, right? 20 insta kill spin attack. Well, take a look at this. I'm not even gonna fully buff. Well, I am gonna fully buff, but only for me. I'm not gonna let Akano buff me, because if she buffs me, then I'm gonna be buffed all hell, and you guys won't get to see it. Put this here. We do this. One of them went down, so I'm gonna have to redo this. Go ahead and do this, and then put this here. Oh, that's cute. Aw, Human Fortress ran out. As you can see, he pretty much tickles. Even with the double hit, it only brings me to half. Now watch this. So because of my regen accessories, my shield matrix brings me to full. And I use shield matrix 2. Shield matrix 3 and 4 are a terrible option. And for one simple fact, they explode. So once shield matrix explodes, you become vulnerable and you cannot move. It doesn't deal enough damage to make that justified. Therefore, anybody who uses the exploding shield matrix, no offense, but you're a fool. Oh, that's cute. He's doing the old reverse. I love that one. That's my favorite. Insult to injury. I'm gonna kill him with the handgun. So, as you guys can see, my tank is, it's a tank. Anyways, I think that should be the end of this video. If you guys enjoyed, I'm glad. If not, rip. But regardless, have a good day, night, or whatever it is for you. And I'm gonna go ahead and switch back to watching YouTube. Have a good one, everybody.